Good morning and welcome to WNHH-FM's Dateline, New Haven. What a beautiful Monday morning. I'm your host, Paul Bass, inviting you to look behind the headlines on the stories that make our community tick. Thabisa makes New Haven tick and soar. Get up off our seats and sway and connect to the universal wave of shared consciousness. Thabisa is a performer and recording artist who lives in Westville and is in high demand these days. She is here in the studio to brighten us up, just like the sunshine outside, to tell us what she's up to. We'll be hearing from her coming week. Thanks for coming back, Thabisa.
Thank you for having me, Paul.
It's always so great to have you here. And we have a ticket to give away this hour. Is that true?
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
And thanks to Yale New Haven Hospital for providing support for today's program. So, Thabisa, you've been busy.
I have.
You're always busy. I feel like every time something's going on, I see, and Westville's Thabisa is going to be performing.
I have been busy.
All right. So, Thabisa, the first thing you got going on is a Mardi Gras, right?
Yes.
And today's Monday. Mardi Gras is Tuesday night. You're playing at the one at that's the big bash of the year at the public library. So a big event for New Haven. Everybody gets dressed up. People love to be seen.
Yes.
What's your role this year?
You know, I'll tell you this first. I've always wanted to be part of that event, even as a patron, you know. And I just couldn't quite make it. And I've always just wished behind my head, like, one day I'm going to go to this event. I know Miss Tina from Lotta Studios takes the pictures. They have a photo booth and all these lovely things.
They do those kind of vintage photos.
Yeah. And I'm like, I want to be there. I want to be part of that. And I was fortunate enough to get an email from Lauren, and she's the director there. And she invited me and asked if I wanted to perform there this year. And I was like, you really? Is that a question? Yes, I want to be there.
Are you going to dress up in a Mardi Gras costume?
You're talking to Thabisa here.
Of course you are.
I love dressing up.
You do. I love
I take after my
outfits.
grandmother. She was a stylish woman. I love dressing up. So yes, I will be.
And so what are you going to dress as?
You know what? I'm just going to go as elegant Thabisa on a white dress. I know it's not necessarily the colors, but I will have the mask, you know, to sort of commemorate the event. But I think I'm just going to come wearing just my white, beautiful satin dress.
Okay. How do you experience the traditions like Mardi Gras? You come from South Africa. You've been here, what, about 10 years?
No, I wish. I'm still a baby. I'm still in my toddler years. I'm going to be 4 years in March.
You've only been here 4 years?
Yeah.
I feel like you've been here forever.
I know.
Okay, so how do you connect to traditions when you perform for them, like Mardi Gras?
You know, music is universal. Firstly, I'm learning that more and more every day. I'm out there performing that, because my biggest fear was singing in my language, because my music intends to be written in my language,
Which is
Xhosa. And I always fear that people are not going to understand it, and I need to change myself in order to accommodate people. And I've grown confident now and realized that I don't need to do any of that. People are just accepting, and they are willing and able and want to hear different things, and they are craving for different cultures.
And what's this thing with that language is that it's percussive in the vocals as well.
Yes, we've got a lot of clicks in my language. And
because the one that we play the most on the air is in the language. It's Vula.
It's Vula,
it's
yeah.
my favorite song.
That's
of yours, yeah. But you do a lot in English too.
I do too. I do write in English as well. And I try to incorporate other languages from my country. You know, we've got 11 official languages, and I hardly know
There are
most
11
of them.
official languages in South Africa.
Official. I mean, America has no official language. So guys, you got to keep up, you know. We have 11 official languages, and that's a lot for one person to learn. But, you know, at least the minimum is 2 languages. An average person speaks about 2 languages.
And are they similar enough that it's easy, like French and Spanish?
Some are. Not all of them. Like Xhosa and Zulu are like brother and sister language. That's the closest language. And then you've got Sotho and Setswana, and I always feel those ones are pretty much close as well. But then the rest is like you've got Venda, you've got Afrikaans, which is it derives from Dutch language, and you've got there's plenty. You know, there's plenty.
So when you spring at Mardi Gras, which is Tuesday night at the New Haven Free Public Library on Elm Street, the big dress-up ball, are you going to be singing songs in Xhosa? Are you going to be singing in English or both?
Both. I'll be singing in Xhosa and in English, and I'll have my band with me.
So how big a band? Like how many people?
Lately I've been calling them my collaborators, you know, because I feel like I am collaborating with them, and they all have their different, you know, brands. They are trying to build themselves as well as entrepreneurs and as independent musicians themselves. And yes, they are my session musicians, and they work with me. So I prefer to call them collaborators these days. I don't know if this feels good.
So you can have a bass and a guitar and
I'm
drums?
gonna have a bass, guitarist, drums, percussion, and my voice. I can't remember what other one. Might have one other.
All right, so it's gonna be a big sound.
It's gonna be a big sound.
Heavy on the rhythm. If you
Heavy on
got
the
percussion
rhythm.
and the drum.
Yes.
And who's playing guitar?
So it's gonna be Lamar. I'm still waiting for you, Mike. Mike, you haven't answered me. We need you tomorrow.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be Lamar Smith.
So you're looking forward to this gig?
I'm looking forward to this gig. I'm excited. I'm amped, and I would love to give away a ticket. Who wants to be my date, guys? Anybody wants to be my date?
Okay,
tomorrow?
why don't we say this? Why don't we play a song that you sang recently at Best Video? And if anyone wants to be the first to comment on the New Haven Independent Facebook page to this video, or comment, just say hello and you want a ticket on the YouTube page either, New Haven Independent WNHH FM. Why don't you tell us hi at Thabisa? I'd love to go to the ball, the Mardi Gras, and then why don't we, if with Harry's cooperation, Thabisa, you were at Best Video. What were you singing?
I was at Best Video with my band, and that particular song is called "Diva from the River."
Diva from the River.
Yes.
All right. If Harry Joe is going to cue it up here on WNHH Dateline New Haven, Thabisa at Best Video. Diva from the River. Am I saying it right, Thabisa? Diva. Because, I mean, obviously you're on Diva Riva. But how do you want to say it? Diva from the River?
Yep. The Black Mermaid.
And that's Thabisa here on WNHH Dateline New Haven. One of the great talents of New Haven. We've been lucky to have her for 4 years. I thought it was 10. And she's telling us about all the great events she's up to. If you're listening, I noticed a number of people are on Facebook. If you would like a ticket to the Mardi Gras, where Thabisa is going to be performing with an ensemble on Tuesday night. Just check in on Facebook, post a comment, and say hi, Thabisa, and you'd love to go to the ball. Now, if you already got your tickets, you can give it to somebody else. So we got one to give away. So Thabisa, you were there at Best Video. When was that?
This particular gig was last year. I just can't remember the times because I've gone so many times there. But it was last year.
They made that a nice space, Best Video. It was almost going out of business as a video rental store, and they turned it into a whole nonprofit cultural center. So much goes on there. What's it like to play there in that space?
I love it. It's one of my favorite spots to perform at. I get the small venues and I get the big venues, but that is my favorite so far.
And why is that?
Because of the sound. It's so warm. It's so warm there. There aren't it's not so echoey and all of that because of the videos that are around us as well. It's like you're in a studio.
So the video sort of absorbs the sound?
Absorbs the sound nicely, and it keeps it warm for me, and I just love it. And everybody, I could hear it. My band just sounds, Eric, when he plays the percussions there, I just feel them vibrating,
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy that space. And I love Hank too.
Yeah, Hank Hoffman's a nice guy.
Yeah.
So what about like the difference from playing Cafe 9 and no musicians like that place? What's that like to play?
The sound like, oh, you know what? It's not my kind of sound.
Why is that? Because they call it the musician's living room. A lot of musicians really like it.
Yeah, also I'm also realizing as well the kind of performer that I am. I love to perform so that people can absorb and feel and hear what I say, rather than a listening crowd, so to speak. I enjoy that more, but I'm learning to do other gigs where people aren't listening.
That's tough when they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
But I thought, don't they listen at Cafe 9? Or
they do actually, they do. But sometimes, it gets a little bit wild, which as it should, and I'm all for it too. It's not necessarily a thing I don't 100% don't want to do. I would love to go back there again and do a gig, because the last time we did a gig there, I did gigs there twice so far,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really fun. People just loved it as well, and I really had a great time myself. What's his name again? I think Paul is his name.
Paul, yeah, who runs the place.
He called me back to come back the second time. He also, I think he got great reviews, and he thought, come back again.
That's
in
wonderful.
a month.
So Diva from the River, did you write that?
Yes.
And what's that about?
That's a funny song because I was with my friend a couple of years ago. I think 2005, earlier than that. But we were just walking. I used to live with musicians and all sorts of artists. And he was a designer, and also he was an artist that actually did murals. But also he loved poetry, so he was a poet as well. So he was doing his own poem, just walking on the streets, and then I started singing this hook. There's a diva from the river, and I was used to doing hooks for hip hop artists. And so and then I was like, oh, there's a diva from the river. It was just that, and I thought, and we never really performed the song anywhere else. And I decided, what, let me just write something about the song, And then I started putting in lyrics, and the lyrics for me, they were more of introducing myself to people, saying, here I am. This is where I come from. There's a part in the song where I say, Dindombo Mxhosa, which means I am a Xhosa woman. And I'm getting distracted. Sorry.
Oh, sorry about that.
So I talk about how I'm coming from KwaZakele. That is my township where I come from, and the actual name means build it yourself, pretty much. So I talk about that. I'm from KwaZakele, which is the place meaning build yourself, and I'm leaving the place to go build for myself.
And there's a river that goes near the town?
Well, not quite. I'm not specifically talking about the river, like figuratively. So I'm just swimming into this world.
And you do it in two languages then. The song has lyrics in Xhosa language and English. It's kind of an interesting decision on your part. Why? Yeah. I guess because the phrase you got, Diva River, was in English.
Yes.
But the theme of the song coming from the town.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that song.
Thank you. I'm glad to see it.
And so so you're playing at Mardi Gras. You got the Best Video. And do you have another Best Video gig coming up?
I do on the 21st of March. I'll be there. I haven't really planned out the gig yet. I want to do something different. I want to go more on the jazzy side. I like to produce gigs, and have a vision how I want to do my act. So at this time, I'm feeling more of it like a 3-piece, something really small and intimate, and more on the jazzy side, and rearrange my songs to make them sound and feel more jazzy. So I'm looking to doing something like that. So Chrissy Gardner,
mm-hmm.
I'm waiting for you.
Oh, that's right. She plays the right. And then you mentioned to me before we went on that Moonsha, who's an artist I've been interested in. I never met her, but I've been playing her videos on the air here. She's a young hip hop and artist. She has a really nice video called Black Teens that she shot at Neville Wisdom's fashion studio in New Haven with a lot of animation in it.
Yes.
And she has a new one. It's kind of a romantic love love story shot in Broadway and in an abandoned building.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting.
Yes.
So you linked
It's
up
very
with
creative.
her on a musical. Tell me about that.
You know, it's an interesting musical. I just love. First of all, I love Muncha. Muncha is ambitious. Muncha is very positive. Is a positive person. She's a dreamer, and she just gets what she wants. You know, like she works for it. So I really love her energy, and I'm very privileged to be part of this. That she considered me to be part of this act, even though I'm just doing a little bit of acting. You know, it's my first acting gig, so I'm very proud of it. That I you know, she's making me break through on that, and I want to follow.
So she's doing a musical.
She's doing a musical.
What's it called?
Yeah, it's an NRG. NRG. She's very sci-fi orientated, futuristic kind of person, and so she's trying to really also, you know, advocate for the environment. You know, that we are destroying the environment, and everything is so technical, and we've got all these computers and phones, and everything is just techno everything, and it's destroying our minds, it's destroying with everything we consume from the internet and all these other things. But basically I act as Miss Pepper, and also I'll be singing one of her songs, and yeah, basically the play is about that. The musical is about advocating for our environment, and pretty much more or less.
What's the story?
Well, she is the machine, right?
She's a machine.
She's the machine.
So that would fit with what kind of themes of the music she's done. Yep, I've noticed that.
Yeah, she's a machine, and she's pretty lost in the story. She gets a bit lost, doesn't know who she is, and I don't want to dwell in.
Yeah, don't give us any spoilers.
because people need to come and see this.
So when and where is it?
I can say the name. You say the name. Bourgeois. The place I can't. I will write it down in the comments, okay? Where it's gonna be, and we will send. I will put on the links as well of where of how to get the tickets. And please bring your friend. Don't just come along.
So this is a hip hop musical written by Mooncha.
By Mooncha, you know, directed by Mooncha. It's gonna be on the 20th of March.
So the night before your best video gig.
Yes.
And it's just a one night.
It's a one night
on a Friday night.
Friday night, yes.
Oh, so I can't go. Oh, well, but that sounds kind of fun.
It is.
It sounds really interesting. We're talking about that on Dateline New Haven. We got Thabisa in the house at 103.5 FM, livestreamnewhaven.org. We have not heard, usually with Thabisa on, we hear a lot of comments on Facebook.
I know.
If you are the first commenter, you can get a free ticket to the big annual Mardi Gras bash party at the Elm City. It's a fundraiser for the library at Elm City Library Tuesday night. And Thabisa will have an ensemble there, and she will be playing. So you've also been hitting some schools, Thabisa.
I will be starting with that this week.
So you're going to Ansonia on the 27th, Edgewood School on the 28th, Foot School on March 13th, Davis Street School. What got you started visiting schools, and what do you plan to do?
Well, first of all, in South Africa, I've always loved going to schools and motivating kids and really just giving them a bit of hope, and just especially where I stayed for a while in Port St. John's. You know, where there's a lot of poverty and kids are not so motivated, and also parents, you know, struggling. There's poverty and all of that. So I would go to schools and just let the kids know that, you know, their dreams are valid and they shouldn't stop dreaming, you know, because of their circumstances. And they had really tough circumstances, you know. But I was just trying to be that light and give them a bit of, you know, hope. And also being a child that knows what it feels like to come from a poor environment, and that, you know, I'm your example. I'm just like you, and there's nothing different. So if I can do it, you can do it too. So it started in South Africa. I used to do that with the kids there. And when I came here, I started working. Mrs. Marlins from Davis Street invited me to go to her school.
Oh, I know her, Trina Mullins. She does great cultural stuff at the school.
Definitely, and you
live on the block.
Oh. So she
Lee Busby gets the ticket. Lee Busby, congratulations. You're getting a free ticket. How would Lee Busby pick up the ticket?
Yes.
Now, how are we going to get Lee Busby the ticket?
Here's what I do. He doesn't even need to come. He just needs to go there straight and just say his name. I will give all the details. I know who he is. I will just, your name will be on the list. Okay.
All right, Lee Busby, thanks for getting the first ticket to Thabisa at the mark. So anyway, you tell him back on the school. So Trina Mullins is the cultural person at Edgewood School. You live on down the block.
Yes.
How did you meet her?
So my daughter, when we moved here, our daughter was accepted in the school, and they were so gracious and so kind, and they let her start school because we came around about March. They let her come in, and they were very gracious about that. I'm really grateful for them for welcoming us in that way. And then I met her because she was her teacher, and a wonderful teacher at it too. And so she was like, "Are you coming from South Africa?" Oh, and she likes to make the accent because she's like, I enjoy like the South African accent. And she's been visiting South Africa back and forth in the
and
span
she's
of
done
years.
some pretty incredible cultural exchanges.
So much, and I work
she's
with
at
her.
Davis Street too. She does. So she work at both schools.
No, she works at Davis Street. She's not at Edgewood. She's at Davis.
But you met her years back at it.
Yeah, years back at Davis Street School when my daughter started grade 3 here, and she asked me if I could teach the kids anything like from South Africa, and I taught them my anthem, my national anthem, which also has 5 languages in it, and the kids killed it.
Would you want to sing a little sample of it here without a backing? You don't have to if you don't want to.
I can. Ngosikeleli Africa, maluphakanyisu phondolwayo. Yezwa emithandazo yethu Nkosi sikelela thina lusapho lwakho murena muruka sitshaba sa Jesu ufedise dintwali matshwenyego o sibuluke sitshaba sa Yesu sitshaba sa South Africa. That was Afrikaans. A deep low van onze hemel, die diepte van ons Heer. Oor ons jewe gebergtes aan de grense aan boord gee. Okay.
And so that's beautiful.
It goes on, then there's English part too.
So that's the Republic of South Africa national anthem.
Yeah.
And is that since Mandela, or was that always the? So it changed obviously when Mandela took over.
Yeah.
And you said it's in 5 languages.
In 5 languages.
How many were you singing there?
I sang. There was one more missing, so I sang 4.
Which 4?
Xhosa, Zulu, Sotho, Afrikaans.
And what were you saying?
I'm saying, Lord bless Africa. Hear our prayers. I'm sorry, I have to.
That's okay.
I have to say it first. Yeah. Yeah, bless us. Yeah, basically just saying, Lord or God, bless us, bless bless Africa, and we praise you, and we lift you up.
And it's kind of interesting that it's in several languages.
It's in several languages.
Sort of a point being made by how it's sung in addition to... And what about all the people whose languages aren't in? What are the reactions?
I think everybody's like, it's okay. Okay, yeah. It's 5 languages, it's okay.
But how they pick? Are those the 5 most spoken languages?
Yes. And also,
so is Xhosa the most spoken?
I'm sorry? Xhosa, yeah. We there's a region that's, especially where I come from Port Elizabeth, Eastern Cape area. Xhosas, there's and Cape Town as well. There are a lot of Xhosa people. So there's just different regions where some languages are popular than others. And Xhosa people, shout out. Just saying.
And Lee Busby asked if he could take photos at your event at the. I'm sure you can at the. We always take photos at the.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely bring your camera, Lee Busby.
You my date, so you can.
So when you go to the schools, you talk about being a singer, how you grew up. Do you sing the national anthem, the South African?
Not really. I just taught the kids for the special event. And then I taught them a little bit of gumboot dancing and yeah.
Can you tell me a story about once you've been at a school, the most memorable moment you had?
Oh my gosh. First of all, I'll just tell you this. I am so proud and I feel privileged and honored that I can do this with the kids in these schools, and that the teachers trust me to do this and work with their kids. I really feel honored that this is happening. So my most memorable is seeing the kids at Davis Street actually doing the gumbo dancing and the little cute kids singing, and we composed the song right there on the spot to work with the dance. It wasn't so hard, but then
you wrote the song with the kids.
With the kids, and it was just an easy like call and response kind of song, so that they can help them with their rhythm on the gumbo dancing. And this little kid is like, "Mercy, really yay!" Which means let's go. But then in Xhosa, because the gumbo dance derives from people that were miners, like mining. In the mining industry, they used to work there, and they used to use that as a Morse code to communicate, so that the bosses wouldn't hear what if they were trying to start a strike or anything like that. The bosses wouldn't know. So they that's how it started. It was a means of defeating the apartheid system. But then now it went on to be commercialized. And if you can Google gumbo dancing now, you're gonna see all these guys and girls dressed like mining working people, but then doing some sophisticated moves. So.
And the kid knew phrase in Xhosa.
Yes.
Is that because Trina Mullins has a program that they were featured up at Harvard for a class she works with in South Africa? And the kids meet each other and communicate and do projects about what life is like in South Africa and in New Haven, Connecticut. Yes.
She's very good at connecting kids with culture, like you say. And I'm working with them right now as well. I'm going there, I think, this week again. They are trying to learn some of my songs. Davis Street. They like trying to learn some of my songs. I want to incorporate the kids on my stages on the upcoming festivals and have them.
How fun!
Yeah, so I'm trying to get them ready.
You talked about the Westville Walk Festival, right? That's the art walk.
Yes,
my wife and I saw you. That was great. And you had kids up there, so you're going to have them up this year at the Westville Walk in May.
I absolutely want to do that, and hopefully, Arts and Ideas has me this year, so I can put a choir. I want to collaborate with the community. If I get these opportunities, I want to take them and then also share them with other people in the community. So should I get the stage at Arts and Ideas as well, I have a vision on how I want to do the set, and it involves having a choir, a local choir as well, singing some of my songs and just rearranging this. Yeah, the kids are already learning my songs now, and
which songs are they learning?
There's a song called Teta Inyani, a couple of songs, but then this one particularly they're gonna do as well. It's called Teta Inyani, Speak Your Truth. Is one of the songs I sang at the Martin Luther King celebration with the steel band and the
St. Luke's Steel Band.
Yes.
Where was that? I heard you really killed it at Yale. Yeah.
It was great. It was really great. I was with the Make Music kids as well, playing the orchestra, and it was just a beautiful experience.
That's wonderful. That's Thabisa here on Dateline New Haven, 103.5 M live, Steve at newhavenindependent.org. We're going to take a musical break to listen to one of your recorded songs, Ayudidi. Did I say it right?
Yep.
And tell me, what is Ayudidi?
One of a kind.
Ooh. And when did you record this?
2016.
All right. Ayudidi from Thabisa. The ODD, that's happening. 2016 recording by Thabisa, who is here in the WNHA studio at Dateline New Haven, 103.5 FM, live streamed at NewHavenIndependent.org on Dateline New Haven. Thabisa, thanks for being here. I love that song. So is that on an album?
It's on the album, the second one called AODD. It's named after the song.
Okay. Yeah, it's got a nice feel to it.
Yeah,
and who's playing on that one?
It's my guys from South Africa that I played with. My recording.
So did you go back to South Africa to record that album?
Oh, no. That I did in South Africa. I did the album.
Oh, 4 years ago, right? I'm doing my math. Yeah. Okay, so that was right before you left.
Just before. I was starting. I just released the album and I didn't have time to promote it. And I was just started to do a tour there. And then I had to come.
Wow. Now, you've been doing some backyard concerts, or is that something you're starting to do? Or tell me about that.
A little bit I've done, and I really want to do that, just to be personal and up and close and personal with people. I want to get to know my community. I want my community to know me, and I now want to really encourage people to actually support musicians and go out there and pay them.
So is this a new trend? I remember like living room concerts got big for a while. Is this something new? I know we have the 1 day of music in New Haven where people do events in their backyards all over town and in their living rooms.
Yeah.
Is this something you did last summer? Do we do it mostly in nice weather?
I did do that, and I enjoyed it so much, and I'm gonna do it again this year. I will do it anytime and every time I can. It's another way of just getting the community.
So someone says, I'd like to have a lot of friends in my backyard. You come, do you set up with microphones and stuff outside? You bring
we'll bring our own sound. We'll bring our bodies and our sound and our talents. All you need to do is just talk to your neighbors and let them in on the
So where did you do it last summer?
So I actually worked with Lisa. It wasn't necessarily my concert.
Oh, Lisa Caston?
Yeah. She had invited me to if I could do this, and her friend, I believe her name is Lisa as well, lives in Guildford. And it was a beautiful backyard, and it was just a beautiful space, and the neighbors were out, and they were just so impressed that they've never really experienced something like that. They were just blown. They were just
And how long do you play at a backyard concert?
We can do whatever we please with it,
So how long did you play in Guildford?
I played for like an hour. And after that, they had a circle where the community and the friends and neighbors, the people sang, they brought instruments and they could sing what they want to sing. They jammed nice. And you sing the song that you want and everybody can join in. It was a beautiful thing. So what I envisioned with this backyard concert is that we can design it as the host wants to. If you want to do a yoga session in your house, in your backyard, everybody, you want them to bring mats, we can do that, and then we can perform after that. It could be a healing session if you want to bring someone to do some sort of constellation.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, we just want to make it as easy as possible, and also as fun for everybody, and as for whatever we can to make it comfortable for everybody.
And Thabisa, Bob McCormick came out and said, "Are you going to play in the Green?" You said you don't know yet about what else with Arts and Ideas. You had a big concert with Arts and Ideas last year.
Yes.
And you're hoping to have that again. What are you listening to these days? Any new music? What's on your shuffle?
I'm just listening to people's music. Like, if people randomly tell me that this is what they listen to, I go ahead and listen to it. Let me just check what I've listened to.
So I find that my music is coming from algorithms. YouTube and Pandora, but more YouTube is pointing me to music I would have never heard before, and I'm enjoying that.
That's fun. That's fun. That's how I like to listen to music. Unless I'm learning a song, like now I can see a change is going to come. It's the first thing that popped up.
Which version?
Both Sam Cooke and Greta Van Fleet, which is the one that I like to sing more. It's a bit rocky, but also it makes my voice. I feel like with that song, I can with this version of Greta Van Fleet, it makes my voice, become a little bit raspy and gritty. I don't know.
Great song.
It's a beautiful classic. It's a great song. It's a painful song as well. Change is gonna come, and we need to see that change, guys.
I come across a group, the Black Pumas, coming out of Austin, and a guy by way of California. It's a really awesome band that does kind of retro soul, but also kind of a modern feel too. It's very good. Original music. I just get that through the algorithms. So update on you're in Westville. How you liking being in Westville? I know that you perform a lot there.
Yeah, I love being in Westville. I feel I feel like it's a best place I could have landed in. I love the efforts that even the community tries, that it makes in terms of, of talking about issues, that any neighborhood.
A lot goes on there. Like kind of, you talked about the Westville Walk. There's also the open studios in the fall. There's the series at the Mitchell Library in the summer. There's the New Year's Eve ball. There are a lot of good events there, and a lot going on at John's place, Lyric Hall.
Yes, I love that place. And talking about the library, when I first came here, I loved the director of the library,
Sharon Levitt-Graff, who just moved to a job downtown.
She really made me feel welcomed.
She's an amazing.
She helped me set up my kids' cards and my card. And I didn't know anybody. It's the first place I sort of went out to the public to see. And I went there and I didn't know what to do. And she told me about these classes that happened, I think at that time on Tuesday and Wednesdays. And my toddler was maybe 3 or 2. I can't remember now. I need to go back to my math. But she was very welcoming and just so helpful and so kind. And I really appreciated that. And it's really important when you are new at a place and you meet people like that. It makes you feel like you can ground yourself and really feel like a human.
So before you go to Thabisa, you brought a backing track to Every Time that you're going to sing for us. We can cue up Every Time. Tell me what this song is.
This is a song I wrote for my darling.
Oh, okay.
Well, there are a couple of songs that I think I get inspired by different things. And this one he was definitely in it as well in terms of my thoughts and when I was writing it. Because I was feeling so good, feeling so happy. I still do feel good and happy about him. And I felt like, my Scooby-Doo, it's just being playful.
Oh, this is your Scooby-Doo. Okay. So this is Every Time by Thabisa, sung live in the studio, WNHH.
Every time I think about you, I feel like the sun should never, ever, ever go down. Every time I look your face, I know that there'll be light in the sky, baby. Yeah. Where were you? Where have you been? Been too long, my Scooby-Doo. Yeah, baby. Yeah. Rescue me, can't you see? You my joy, my pride, and my sunshine. Oh. Scooby-Dooby, 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 Scooby, Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo, baby, hey, Scooby-Dooby, 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 Scooby, Doo-doo-doo-doo, baby, my joy, my pride and sun. My sunshine, you are, yeah. Every time I look in your eyes, I see that love and know that I'm the one. for you, baby. Come on, your mouth, I turn to call your name. Ooh, be now my chocolate, come on, my chocolate bunny, baby. Where were you? Where have you been? Been too long, my Scooby Dooby Doo, doo goo, baby, yeah. Hey, rescue me, can't you see? You my joy, my pride, and my sunshine. Oh, Scooby Dooby 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 Doo 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 doo, baby. Hey. Yes, you are mine. Yeah. I know we're meant to be together, yeah. I'm so glad that we found each other. Oh, yeah. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. My Scooby Dooby 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 Doo, yeah. Yes, you are mine. My joy, my pride and sun. Yes, you are mine. Oh, you my Scooby Dooby Scooby Dooby Dooby Doo, Scooby Dooby Dooby Doo, yeah.
Scooby-Doo with Thabisa on Dateline New Haven, WNHH-FM. Boy, it's so great when you come in. You were hitting some notes there.
Yeah.
You were really flying in the middle of that one.
Yeah, that was nice. It was fun to do.
I kind of felt like they boarded the plane, it took off, and there you were. And you wrote that song, beautiful track. Who's singing the background on that?
Some of the vocals I do myself, and then there's also this wonderful woman. She can do anything. Her name is Nelly. From South Africa. She's the lady we go to. The company I was working with, that she was the only one we would go to help us with our backing voices.
And she's from here?
No, she's from South Africa.
Oh, still in South Africa.
South Africa, yes.
Well, that sounded great.
Thank you.
And you're also going to be singing for the temporary closing of the Grand Avenue Bridge.
Yes.
What do you how does one commemorate in song the closing of a bridge? They're going to be fixing the bridge over 18 months in Fairhaven.
You know, with that, it's going to be interesting and wonderful too, because there's going to be two other wonderful women in New Haven, the trailblazers of New Haven, and that on its own needs its own interview with the ladies. They've been doing great stuff. Alexis, she's a tap dancer. And Isabella Mendes Lira, she, you know her, she's been on. She's been, yes. So we are going to collaborate and work together for a little bit.
So that's what we're going to talk about next week, right? They're coming on?
Yes, they're coming on next week.
All right.
You're going to hear a lot about that.
All right. Thabisa, thank you so much for coming in. Thanks for singing.
I'd
never heard the national anthem of the Republic of South Africa before.
Yes.
That was a great first. Lee Busby, have a great time as the guest of honor.
Yes.
At the Mardi Gras Tuesday night, which you could still get tickets for, even just show up and pay, right?
Yep.
Elm City Library. What time?
5:30. 5:30.
People are gonna be. If you notice people dressed up with masks on Elm Street Tuesday night, don't worry. It's really okay. It's gonna be Mardi Gras, and everyone's gonna be having a great time.
Absolutely.
Thabisa, thanks for coming.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Next week. You sound great.
Yes. Thank you.
And thanks to Yale New Haven Hospital to provide support for today's program. Thanks to the miracle man behind the controls. Harry Droz, the bravest and most talented man in New Haven. We're going to take it out with Afro-Semitic Experience performing I Wish I Knew How It Would Feel to Be Free from the group CD. a plea for peace. This is Paul Bass and Thabisa, inviting you to fly free with us all day and all night at WNHH, New Haven's home for community radio.